We will open up the Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for Thursday, November the 13th. The first thing we'll do is opening prayer by Dr. Fred Shacker from Ellendale Baptist, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able, please stand for the prayer. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Creator God, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the breath in our lungs and the opportunity to be here and use it to do your will. I pray for these leaders. I pray you give them your wisdom as a manifestation of your grace and kindness toward this community that we have the great privilege to live in. Thank you for those who fought for our freedom to have meetings like this. And Lord, thank you for those who put themselves in harm's way for our protection and benefit. And we pray your protection on them. Bless our time together tonight. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, I'd ask that you read the future meetings into the record, please.
Historic Preservation Commission, November 17th at 6:30 p.m. Bartlett Arts Council, November 18th at 6 p.m. Bartlett Performing Arts and Conference Center Advisory Board, November 18th at 6 p.m. Design Review Commission, November 18th at 6:30 p.m. Board of Zoning Appeals, November 20th at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any Boy Scouts in the crowd? Seeing none in the crowd, I'd ask our Finance Director, Mr. Dick Phoebus, to meet me down front. Over the years, the city has got numerous awards for our finance department and the well job that they've done. And tonight, I'm pleased to say again, the Government Finance Officers Association, United States of America, has recognized Bartlett again for the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. We received that on November the 4th, and tonight, I just want to present that certificate of recognition for our budget preparation to Mr. Dick Phoebus. Mr. Dick.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that, and I appreciate the award from the GFOA organization, which I've been a member of, and the city's been a member of for a long time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our finance staff, budget coordinator, and all the employees in the finance office who contributed to this award, and you should be proud of them, and the board should be proud of them. Thank you.
Now to the official business of the day. First item is the approval of the minutes. You should have received the minutes from the October 28th, 2025 Board of Mayor and Aldermen regular meeting in your packet. And if there's no corrections, errors, or omissions, we'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Alderman Reeves and seconded by Vice Mayor Young. So, Madam Clerk, would you present the roll to the board? The minutes from October the 28th passes unanimously. So now we move to unfinished business. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 1 under unfinished business?
Second reading of ordinance 25-06, an ordinance to rezone from RS10 residential single family to CG general business commercial property at 5866 Ivanhoe Road. This public hearing has been set for November 25th, 2025.
We do have, this is the second reading, we do have our Director of Planning and Economic Development, Kim Taylor, available if there's any questions from the board.
I have a question. Not of Kim. If this fails, does it still move forward? Ed?
It needs to go to the public hearing. The process needs to work the way it's intended to work.
So it's not like the county commission. It doesn't move automatically. It has to be approved first, second, and third reading.
But if we don't have the public hearing on this and there's a lawsuit, we won't be able to defend it because there won't be a record as to why you voted. I'm not suggesting you vote either way, but you need to let the process work, have the hearing, and then make your decision either way. But if we don't do that, you compromise the city's position to defend if a lawsuit gets filed.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second. Properly motion, seconds, any discussion?
Yeah, I want to clarify that motion is to put it on for the public hearing, right, not for or against the zoning.
Correct.
So tonight we're voting to set the public hearing, not for or against that motion. Correct?
Correct. Any other comments? Hearing no other comments, Madam Clerk. Second reading passes 6-0. Madam Clerk, item number 2 under unfinished business.
Move the second reading of ordinance 25-07, an ordinance to amend the City of Bartlett Animal Control Ordinances, Title 10, Chapters 1 and 2, to November 25th, 2025. This public hearing is set for November 25th.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk. Passes 6-0. And just a reminder that public hearing is set for November the 25th, so we'll have discussion on that. We'll now move to consent agenda. There's 4 items on there. Any member of the board can remove any item for separate discussion if they wish. Does any board member wish to remove any single item for separate discussion? Alderman Quinn.
Yes, I'd like to remove number 2.
Okay. All right. So we have number 2 on the floor. And
Mr. Mayor, could we remove item number 4 as well?
All right, so we'll have item number 2 and item number 4 for separate discussion. Let's go on, and if there's no other items wish to be remembered, let's deal with items 1 and 3 here first. So is there a move to approve item 1 and 2 and 1 and 3?
Motion.
Second.
In proper motion, Madam Clerk.
Sorry. It doesn't matter. Thank you.
All right, give me just a moment. It's going to take me a second to move those items. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Kevin, you gonna vote?
Items 1 and 3 passes unanimous. Now we'll move to, for separate discussion, item number 2. Alderman Quinn? Amendment, I'm sorry.
Amendment to minimum bond subdivision contract for Sanctuary Subdivision Phase 1.
Motion.
Been properly motioned to second. Discussion. Alderman Quinn?
Yes. Can John come up? Sorry about that. Hey, thank you for coming down. Sorry to have to call you out. So I do have some questions about the contract. Earlier this board did remove some fees for developers, and I just was curious what the background was on this one for waiving these particular fees, which are quite a bit of money, and also you're looking at just phase 1, so I'm assuming they'd want to come back twice and take this $250,000 or so off as well.
So this contract that was brought, I believe, on the 28th, BMA, the only difference in the contract submitted on the 28th and tonight has to do with the way that we have the contract set up for paving. So the previous one that was submitted on the 28th said that the final surface of paving would not be installed until 100% of the lots are built out. And so what was requested was the change to make it what's been consistent with the way we've operated in the last year, and that is to change that to allow the final 1 inch of paving to go down just prior to the recording of the plat. So it changes the timing of that final 1 inch of paving in the subdivision, and it changes the warranty, and that's it.
Okay, because looking at it, it says water plant expansion, water system engineering, and those are the fees that are being waived.
Yeah, so those were waived in the previous contract, and so sometime in the, Mayor and Steve helped me out, in the previous fiscal year, those particular fees are waived in the different basins in the city of Bartlett, with the exception of Fletcher Creek.
Okay.
And so this does not sewer to Fletcher Creek. This sewers north.
This is something the board voted on last year.
Okay. Well, it does look different. So, okay. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Thank you, John. Hearing no more discussion, Madam Clerk.
Still waiting on votes.
Is anything on y'all's screens?
I'm going to reset the vote and see what happens.
Okay. Thank y'all for bearing with us.
Are you voting? You voted? It's not recording. So can I do roll call on that one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Alderman King? Yes. Alderman Griffin? Yes. Alderman Reeves? Alderman Williams?
Yes.
Alderman Young?
Yes.
Alderman Quinn?
No.
Item number 2 passes 5-1.
Nope, there it went. Internet?
We can now, so Madam Clerk, we read item number 4 now.
Move to approve.
Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce Agreement.
Be properly Alderman King and seconded by Alderman Reeves. Okay, good. So Alderman Reeves,
if I could get Steve just to kind of recap real quick what we covered in the last session. We don't have to go into great detail, but just a quick overview of why we're doing this and kind of what it addresses. That's all I'm really, because this is a much bigger crowd than the 3 people we had in here during the work session. So.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind just pulling that up, we'll kind of go through it.
So at the end of the fiscal year, this board asked us to perform an audit of the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce's account, which we did and we presented earlier at the work session. Through that process, we were also asked to draft an agreement that we could review annually with that same chamber. She's pulling it up here. Basically, the purpose was to identify our partnership, so that viable long-term economic development strategy that we would both implement to address the entire community. The main focus is here, business retention, commercial and industrial real estate development, marketing, new business development, retail development, and workforce development. Ultimately, the city would focus on the overall community development, with the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce focusing on retail and commercial and industrial development. Obviously, there's going to be overlapping areas, so the point there was for the city and BACC to collaborate, to leverage our respective strengths, ultimately attract new opportunities, and support sustainable growth. From a funding perspective, the city has annually provided $35,000 to support the efforts of the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce. The proposal here is to continue with that $35,000. It kind of went through how we identify how all that funding was going to be allocated. The big piece here is the measurables. That's what this board was asking for. So annually, we will evaluate how we're responding to RFIs and RFPs. So that's what we do when X company is thinking about coming into a property. They will issue an RFI or an RFP. John Threadgill with the Bartlett Area Chamber would compile a package. We would then present that package in the hopes that we could land that development. Ultimately, they'll launch one new training program for small businesses next year, conduct a survey of local businesses with the hopes of maintaining a 90% satisfaction score or greater, increase monthly visitors to bartlettgrowth.com. If you haven't visited it, help John out and go click the link there, because this is part of his initiative. Create a quarterly report for Bartlett Station Commission, so essentially coming before the commission, reporting where they are from a commercial and industrial side. And of course, as the city is working to hire an economic development manager, the assumption being that these measurables may evolve as the year progresses based on the needs of this board and the needs of the city and the chamber.
Thank you, Steve. I think it's just important to understand that we have a partnership with the chamber. They're good at doing a bunch of things, but we are now beginning to really make sure that they're specific and they're measurable. That way, we're giving them $35,000 annually to do things for us in the economic development space. We got to make sure they're producing something with it. So this is, I don't know if it's the first time we've ever done this. Is it, Steve?
The agreement that we have was not current. Let's
yeah.
say that.
But so we haven't had anything like this. So that's what we're approving tonight, is making sure they know exactly what the expectation is. And if they don't meet that expectation, then we have the ability in future years to pull that funding back. So that's it. Thank you so much for the overall presentation.
Madam Clerk, any more discussion? Seeing nobody wish to be recognized, Madam Clerk. This passes 6-0. We move now to new business. Madam Clerk, will you read item number 1 to the record under new business?
Resolution 41-25, a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2026 Bartlett City Schools General Purpose School Fund and Education Capital Project Fund.
Mr. Dick Phoebus, Director of Finance, you're recognized.
This resolution comes to us from the Bartlett Board of Education. They approved an amendment to their budget for $7.2 million to be paid out of their general fund balance. And 2 projects that are included in that figure is $1.9 million to Bartlett Elementary roof and $5.3 million for the Bartlett High School practice facility.
Motion.
Been properly motioned by Alderman Reeves and second by Alderman King. Is any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk. Resolution 41-25 passes unanimous 6-0. Madam Clerk, item number 2.
Resolution 42-25, a resolution to approve the Industrial Development Board of the City of Bartlett, Tennessee's Economic Impact Plan for the City of Bartlett Public Safety and Green Space Preservation Tax Increment Financing Application.
Ms. Kim Taylor, Director of Planning, are we going to go Steve? Okay. This time we're going to recognize our CEO, Mr. Steve Sones, and then Ms. Kim Taylor.
All right, let him get this presentation up and we'll get started.
Can we put it on the floor? Motion.
Second.
Okay.
All right, so good evening again as we come before you tonight with the City of Bartlett's Public Safety and Green Space Preservation TIF. So a lot of this is going to be somewhat of a recap of what we discussed a couple months ago with some new additions that we'll talk about in detail. So what's new? First, this is a city-led initiative. So what that means is that all TIF funds are administered by the city. It does not change in regards to the improvement of public safety, which is still a central piece of what we're doing, with the ambition of addressing the high crash intersections in the corridor improvement area that we'll talk about. Modernizing infrastructure is still another important piece of this. We'll reinvest future TIF increment generated by Union Depot First Edition to fund supporting infrastructure upgrades. And then the newest component of this is through that increment, we'll be able to acquire and preserve Quail Ridge Golf Course as a public green space. So talk a little bit about the planned improvement area. So the area you see there in red is Union Depot First Edition. To west of that is the corridor improvement area, and then north is the green space preservation area, or Quail Ridge Golf Course. So talk a little bit about safety in that corridor improvement area. So we went over this before in detail, and I'll kind of give you just a Cliff Note version of it. So the Mid-South Safety Action Plan was a regional plan that analyzed crash data based on all participating municipalities, ultimately identified high injury corridors, highlighted safety disparities, and recommended targeted improvements. The majority of those targeted improvements were in our 5 highest crash risk intersections, 3 of which lie in the corridor improvement area. So this isn't something that the city is immune to. We knew this was an area that we needed to address, and we've already initiated some safety improvement pursuits by applying for an SS4A grant to help take these recommendations and ultimately design improvements throughout the Stage Road corridor. The hope here, though, is to use that TIF increment to help strengthen and accelerate those efforts without drawing from our paving budget or going to the bond market. So in short, the corridor improvement area goals here are to implement the SAP strategies, ultimately to produce resilient infrastructure improvements in those high crash zones, and develop a long-term plan to reduce crashes, advance mobility, and ultimately increase business development. Some of those safety improvements can include anything from mast arms to smart sensors, as well as AI-based near-miss detection, road diets, a host of things that we can do to try to improve it. But we're not just taking these recommendations. There is a tangible example that we can all go actually see of how this has been implemented and ultimately how it has worked. So we did a little Google Earth tour. I'll click through this. I'm clicking 2 things at once here. All right. So we did a little Google Earth tour last time of the Highland Strip corridor. So those 3 pictures that you're seeing at the top show where Highland was, where that strip was in 2014. The 2 pictures that you see at the bottom is them taking all of those plans. So that's conducting a road diet, that's putting in pedestrian landing strips, that's including masking arms, several of those things that we just discussed. Now, the ambition here is not for Stage Road to look like the Highland Strip. The point is to show that all these measures can go a long way to improve safety. What I mean by that is, in 2014, before these improvements were implemented, there were approximately 160 crashes along that Highland corridor. In 22, when everything was completed, that number had dropped to 82. So the ambition here is to take the measures that they're doing, take them in recommendations of the SAP, and implement them to ultimately reduce accidents along that Stage Road corridor. So beyond safety, we talk a little bit about how we could also use that increment, one, to carry out the vision of this board. So growing retail, growing dining has been a priority of this Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It was confirmed by the University of Memphis, who did a public survey that basically came back with all of that feedback. Ultimately, it's been reinforced by the Bartlett Station Commission, which also expanded and set boundaries throughout the Stage Road corridor. Several available parcels here that we could use for horizontal improvements. And what I mean by that is laying slabs, clearing properties, helping to get stubs set, a lot of things that can help reduce some of that cost. As you all know, there's a lot of aging properties that also lie in this area, and that redevelopment, those redevelopment opportunities are opened with this increment. With the overarching goal here of ultimately driving this growth, advancing safety, enhancing that streetscape like you saw along the Highland Strip, and improving economic vitality. The newest component of this, which I think everybody's here to talk about, is Quail Ridge and the preservation of that green space. So if you recall, a couple of months ago, Alderman King was able to get an additional $3 million put on the floor when the developer was in front of us. That would have been spread over 20 years. The difference now is that we're getting that $3 million up front. And through that TIF-generated revenue, we would ultimately seek to acquire Quail Ridge Golf Course. That property would become a city-owned public green space. We've already issued a request for proposals to identify an experienced golf management firm to operate that course and ultimately restore it back to what we all knew it once was. That selected firm will be responsible for funding all necessary facility upgrades at no cost to the city. All course revenue would then be reinvested back into that corridor improvement area in an effort to continually promote safety. What I say by that is we're not reinvesting to pay off debt. We're not reinvesting it to refund our fund balance. We will be reinvesting it to promote safety. The land would remain a golf course and a public amenity unless the Board of Mayor and Aldermen formally votes to change its use. With that portion done, I would turn it over to our Director of Planning, Kim Taylor.
So let me start by saying the precursor to this Union Depot, which is a part of the included TIF for public improvements, this board approved a special use permit, which is a requirement in order to have a residential mixed-use development. The special use permit for Union Depot First Edition was approved by this board in July of 2025. It is a 34.5 acre development that is located in the planned commercial zoning district, and it is directly across the street on Highway 70 from the existing Union Depot mixed-use development. It will complement that development. It has road frontage on both Highway 70 and Highway 64. A concept plan was approved with the special use permit, but the TIF did not make it past this board due to a lot of the public concerns and outcry. So the developer went back to the drawing board and he made a number of improvements to the concept plan. One of which is the village district that you see there in blue. That will be a composite of townhomes and single-family homes. And then a greater separation where the detention area is to the north from both the residential and some of the other commercial businesses. Next slide. So as you can see here, this development is condensed of three different sections. The mixed-use loft district, which will have residential loft apartments, restaurants, and retail shops. So usually first floor commercial businesses and restaurants, and the upper floors would be residential lofts. And then we have the village district that I mentioned, which is new, and it contains townhomes, single-family homes, both detached and semi-detached amenities. And no multifamily or mixed-use loft will be included with this area. And then we have the Marketplace District, which has multiple uses, including a major grocer, retail, commercial, and offices, possibly some townhomes and single-family homes that are detached or semi-detached, and additional amenities. The total number of townhomes and single-family detached will be 40 units. Lofts will be 360, and then we'll have 20,000 square feet of general retail use in the development, 20,000 square feet of food and beverage development, a 50,000 square foot grocer, and the total estimated value will be $95,650,000 is the total projected value of the property. Thank you.
And Tricia Adrian, our IDB attorney.
Hey, good evening. So when we do economic development projects like TIFs and pilots, we hire a third-party company called Younger and Associates. They're out of Jackson, Tennessee, and they provide estimates on the projected economic impact for projects like this. For this one, the annual economic impact at full operation is projected to be $106.8 million, and that's annual number. They expect around 708 jobs that are supported annually, and the wages for that are estimated to be 25 million annual wages. Sales tax annually is estimated to be $1.7 million. Next slide. So right now the property for the Union Depot First Edition is collecting $8,500 in taxes a year. Once the project is completed, it's estimated that it will collect around $184,000 a year, and then after the TIF it would be $1.3 million. Next slide. These are total economic benefits to the city, the estimated numbers, the development value, which Kim just went over, and it shows the property taxes to be generated, the amount that will go to debt service, the amount that will go directly to the city, and also fees that go to your IDB. Next slide. And similarly, these are the numbers that would go to the county. Their property taxes are higher, so there's a higher property tax generated there, and same thing for debt service. And then these are the numbers that are combined. And in addition to that, jobs number of 708, that would be annual during, annually after the project is completed, but during construction, they estimate 604 jobs. That's another number to point out. Happy to answer any questions.
Trish, just so we're clear, is that going to have an economic impact on the people that does not live there on their taxes? Those numbers you just read there are only generated within that district?
That's correct. Yes. So there's a huge potential for the additional development area, the corridor improvement area. You would also be capturing those, but because we don't really know what kind of improvements are going to go into that, they're not able to estimate that. They estimated on a annual increase in value, but not like a complete change because we don't really know what's going to happen there.
Thank you.
But you will be able to capture those, that increment as that area grows.
Well, thank you. Is any questions from the board or discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk. Resolution 42-25 passes 5-1. We now move to open discussions. Anything the board would wish to say? Alderman Griffin.
I just want to thank Michael Bollinger for the work he's been doing for BPAC. He has been promoting his season like crazy. A lot of media coverage, a lot of local media coverage, both in print and on air, and just doing a great job. So I appreciate what you do. You have a very limited budget, and you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, Alderman Reeves.
First of all, thank you to staff. Thank you for all the work that has gone into this. I know this question of this TIF is emotional for some, but it also is important for others. right? And I'm glad that we're able to do what we're doing. There's still a little bit of a journey to go. I do think that we need to lean into what the next step is. Mr. Mayor, the way people know from Quail, where does this go after this meeting? So if we can kind of address that, that would be helpful.
Trish, you want to address the next step going to County Commission?
Yes, so the IDB recommended that this go before your board, which you just passed, and then next it will go before the County Commission before the end of the year.
So the County Commission in December should take this up.
Yes.
And if they pass it, then it's done.
Yes.
So there will be committee meetings, and then there will be a final vote sometime in December from the County Commission. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who live in Bartlett, the County Commissioner is Mick Wright. You want to make sure that he is on board, which I'm pretty sure that he is. So, and that's where it goes next.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any directors wish? Thank you, Tish. Any directors wish to be recognized? Fire Chief Tommy Gately.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I'd like to give an update on. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. I'd like to give an update on the 45th annual pancake breakfast that was held last month. It was a record year for us financially. After the last few bills are paid, it looks like it'll be around $20,000 was raised during that event. It's
good job.
It's definitely applause worthy. It doesn't happen on its own. You know, there's a lot of volunteers, a lot of sponsors, a lot of support from the city and BSMC, and we're extremely proud of the effort of our men and women. But the community came out in big numbers. We fed over 2,000 people. We look forward to even greater things in the future. But just first of all, that money is valuable to us because we invest it into Baptist Cancer, West Cancer, the Dream Factory. Recently, we did some fire blankets, kind of in some target areas that we wanted to get them out to. We do food baskets around Christmas to needy families that have fallen on hard times. We've also helped 2 fire families recently that experienced injuries and setbacks, and we were able to help kind of meet some needs there. But it couldn't be done without the support of y'all, without the community. The volunteers, the sponsors stepped up. Chief McNeil and his wife, Mike McElwee, Donnie Whirling, and a bunch more. But we appreciate the support. We don't have the date nailed down for next October, but we look forward to breaking that record. Thank you.
Good job.
Well, we are running out of year, but we are not running out of things to do. So I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is not just a regular Friday, it is a
Fire Pit Friday.
You guys are good. I appreciate that. So tomorrow, Fire Pit Friday at Freeman Park. The Rec Rover is going to be there. I personally saw Parks Director Paul Wright chopping wood earlier this week to make sure everybody was cozy. Concession stand will be open, so come out and hang out with us. Saturday is the turkey shoot at Singleton. Parks and Rec will be doing their annual turkey shoot. Then next Friday, I guess Merry Christmas, everybody, because we're lighting the tree, on November the 21st. Next Friday, Freeman Park, 6 p.m. And while we're doing that, the Bartlett Area Chamber of Commerce Christmas Market is going to be going on that Friday and Saturday at Freeman Park. Then we're out of November. We roll into December, and
we have a Christmas parade. We are so excited to have the Christmas parade again. This is our 3rd year since COVID kind of shut us down for a little bit. We're excited this year. Our parade marshal is Mrs. Sue Griffin Coleman, who has done a lot for Bartlett, and we're happy to honor her this year. We have floats. If you haven't got your application in, you have till tomorrow to get that application into us, and we'll be sending all that out. So happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. But I want to take a quick minute and just thank everyone who came out for our Veterans Day ceremony. It was freezing cold, and we appreciate everyone coming out. We had a great speaker, Captain Wells. Everyone said he was just awesome. And thank you all for braving the cold and coming out. That's a very meaningful ceremony that I do, and just thank you.
Todd, I want to give a shout out to the Bartlett Community Choir. I think will be singing during the Christmas tree lighting.
They will be.
And so we appreciate them, and so it'll be Christmas carols and a good time there.
And they did extend, on Friday night, they extended it an hour, so they'll be open Friday night from 4 to 8, and we light the tree at 6.
Yeah, while you're saying it, I want to talk about Saturdays, how they can come back Saturday.
More shopping?
Yep.
So Saturday, it's open, John, is it 9 to 4? It's 9 to 4 on Saturday for more shopping in Santa, the Polar Express. They have lots of things to do. It's if you've never been, you have to come. It's kind of like a Hallmark movie moment there. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Any other directors? Seeing no other directors wish to be recognized. Johnny, seeing you, did you want to say something? Okay, good. If the citizens completed open discussion form prior to the start of the meeting, they come forward, and our clerk will call your name to the podium. Please come when she calls you.
Nicole Travis. Hey guys, Nicole Travis, 3141 Hill Lake Drive, Bartlett, Tennessee, 38135. Man, as much as I like to run my mouth, I will never like public speaking. There was an incident here in the summer that occurred at one of the previous TIF meetings. Robert Griffin greeted me like he always does. Hey, Nicole, it's good to see you. Same as ever. Looked him dead in the eye, and I said, you may want to rethink that statement in a little bit, because I knew that I was prepared to step up and speak out against the TIF. Okay? I was so bent on it, when y'all voted to push it through to the next phase, I went ahead, pulled out my little black marker that I had with me, and defaced my $20 Bartlett shirt and rebranded it as Grantlet. So those that want to keep carrying that torch forward, you're welcome, but I'm not on that team anymore. And Robert, I appreciate the respect that you always show me, because I can be a handful. I know this. I've become very passionate, and you, actually all of you are always very respectful, and I do thank you for that, because I don't think you guys get enough credit for being the punching bag a lot of times, where the opinion is that you should be available 24/7 for what really should amount to a part-time gig. So I do thank you for that. And I'm not an ego-driven person, so it really doesn't hurt me to stand here and tell you guys that I'm walking that Grantlet thing back. And my thinking on the anti-TIF stance has kind of evolved. And oddly enough, the shift began when I peeled back the layers as to why I was having such a visceral reaction. Was some of it carryover because they built in my backyard since I live in Kirby Lakes? And I'm nothing if not honest. Yeah, it still was chapping my butt. All right, move to the next level, right? I realized that an area that I love to visit when I go to Allen, Texas, absolutely love this area. If I could communicate the vibe that comes off of there, the vibrancy, just the community spirit, I love going down there to visit. Joke's on me, right? Because that actually was an area that was developed under a TIF. All right, let's continue with the paradigm shift, right? Actually, I guess I just did want to reiterate the part about it being well done, and it's a super cool spot that actually includes food, music, shopping, and entertainment activities. So the onus is on you guys to live up to my expectation of what a TIF district can evolve to. Well, I'm not in favor of a TIF being an end-all, be-all solution for conducting business going forward. Your time has ended.
Sorry. You can finish your comment if you don't want to stop in the middle.
Don't do that just because I'm pro. But as I'm not in favor of it being an end-all, the end-all, be-all, we need a catalyst, and I really do think that this is it. You guys have done your due diligence, because I stood up here and griped at you guys about the safety issues. You've tackled that. You guys have tackled the accountability issue. All this stuff's going in the background, and then you guys come out with this new plan. And I thought, well, how am I going to gripe about that? Because leadership...
I meant one comment.
Oh. Mayor Parsons, you give me an inch and I will take a mile, and that man, God, he'll tell you. Anyway, the other two final thoughts that I do have is perhaps you guys could entertain the ideas of boards for economic development that are citizen-led
to provide the input that way, and to also do one that maybe is a citizen-led volunteer board for the Chamber of Commerce, because we're more than what our zip code tells these people that are marketing us and shopping us. And the answer to a lot of the issues we've got going on is cheeks and seats. At these meetings, cheeks and seats at our restaurants, our local establishments, our events. So now I'm going to shut up and go sit down.
Thank you, Nicole.
Tammy Kirk.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I'm actually here not about the TIF. I came to this meeting a few months ago, and I pointed out that, 3433 Big Springs Lane in Bartlett, 38133. So I came to this meeting a few months ago because the school board was failing to comply with the policy 3018 and not providing a bus to our neighborhood. And there is a school board member that has reached out to me. However, in lieu of providing a bus stop to comply with their policy, they are proposing falsely to modify the policy, stating that they do not provide a bus if it's within 2 miles of a middle or high school. I have multiple addresses stating that is false. I believe that them trying to change the policy by putting back in what they call a parent responsibility zone is unfortunately a direct result of our neighborhood being very vocal in that we were not getting a bus and that their current policy says we should have one. And that's very disappointing because it's not in the best interest of student safety. In addition, the modification of the policy would violate Tennessee Code 49-6-2101, which was modified in 2024, which is why the Bartlett policy was modified in 2024. I understand this board does not handle that, but this board does a public record, this board does public minutes, and the school board minutes are dang near impossible to find, if at all published. So I am objecting, and I went on record that I'm objecting to modifying the policy because it's under false pretenses that they currently follow a parent responsibility zone, which is not a documented policy. They do not, or these 6 addresses, which were very easy to find and have a walking distance of well under 1.5 miles, would not currently have a bus. In our neighborhood, which the walking distance accessible, meaning paved, free of objects, and safe, is 1.7 and 1.9 miles. And some of these middle school kids are 10. So that's not appropriate and it's not safe. So I'll continue to go to the school board meetings and speak. There is one school board member who has reached out to me, but I wanted this on record again because I do believe that their modification of the policy is under false pretenses and is also, it's going to just eliminate them having to give a bus for student safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kirk.
Liz Ebbers.
Hi, I'm Liz Ebbers, and I live at 3684 Oak Forest Drive and also own property at 5936 Steeplechase Drive in the Surrey Woods subdivision. And I'm here for 2 reasons. The first is opposing the rezoning of Ivanhoe from residential to commercial. I think it's going to be very dangerous for that intersection. You did a great job putting in a new safety light, but I think that having 3 structures and 85 cars coming in and out of Ivanhoe Road is going to be very dangerous, not only for the traffic on Ivanhoe, but it's also going to be dangerous for Bartlett Boulevard. So I'm imploring you to, I know it's second reading and we have to go through the public hearing, which is the 25th, but I'm voicing my opinion now to not move this forward, to rezone it, to leave it as a commercial property. Secondly, I wanted to voice my favor for the new TIF. Thank you for restructuring it. I was absolutely opposed to a TIF where the developer was going to be benefited at the expense of the taxpayers, but the way you've redesigned it and reorganized it, it is put back into the city of Bartlett owning the golf course and the city of Bartlett controlling the golf course and leaving it as a green space. So thank you. And lastly, I'll close with whoever is putting together the Q&A session that's listed on the website, kudos. Very transparent. Continue to do that. We as residents we just want information. We want to know what's going on. And that is one place that we can find it, and it's written in such a clear manner. You should promote it more so that other residents absolutely can go and get the answers that you are putting out there, and you can control the dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas Renfro.
I live at 5982 Explorer, Bartlett, Tennessee, 38134. I am here to oppose the rezoning of the Ivanhoe address. First thing is, I live right there in that area. There's that traffic at that light. I drive through there quite often. Have seen people trying to make right-hand turns out of that left-hand turn lane that goes into the park. And you add more congestion to it, we're going to have an awful wreck. Second is, we have children that live in that area. You're going to bring more congestion through the whole neighborhood. We already have people coming through there that are going from Summer Avenue over to there, and you're going to add to it by bringing a business in there. And third, we also do not have all of our storefront properties in the area filled up. There are empty storefront properties in there. We shouldn't be building more storefronts when we don't have the ones that we already have put up. I would also like to say thank you to the police department and our fire department for the wonderful job that they do. They have been serving our community at the very top of the level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renfro. That's all the application we had filled out. So the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Let's go home.
Been properly seconded. Meeting adjourned.